just really, really excited. I just wanted to get going. Tapering down for the last 2 weeks, I was just itching to do anything, from pretty much just sitting around at home trying to preserve energy. Got going, was absolutely flying. Going into it, my ambition was a sub 4-hour marathon. Around about 8 miles, I was on pace for about 3 hours 1 minute and feeling really good. And then I stood on a stray bottle and I broke a bone in my foot, sprained my hip and tore part of my calf muscle.
And of course you were oblivious to these injuries at the time, I imagine.
Oh no.
Oh,
I was in agony. I was in absolute agony.
Did you think you'd broken something?
I knew my foot was really sore, but I carried on, and that just stayed as like a consistent pain. But I literally felt like my hip pop, and that pain just got worse and worse and worse. And then little different areas of my calf kept popping as I went, and it just got more and more painful. About 16 miles, I could barely move and had to go into a physio tent to get some treatment.
My gosh. And we're talking about the London Marathon here, one of the most popular marathons in the country, tens of thousands of people. You're talking about sort of standing on a plastic bottle. Was it like an obstacle course?
Not so. Most of the way round, everyone was discarding them to the side, and they had a constant clean-up crew. So it wasn't too bad, but people are just kind of chucking them stray. And in this particular area, it just seemed to get a little bit congested with bottles underfoot, and it's just one of those things. It's just unlucky.
And you talk about sort of with every mile that it was obviously aggravating these injuries. What was driving you? What was keeping you going? Why didn't you stop?
You just can't really. I was running for hospice, and I was going through, at that point, probably 3 of the most uncomfortable hours of my life. But the level of discomfort and pain I'm in is nothing compared to some of the people who the charity support. I'm also an ambassador for Positive Bones, which is run by a girl who has literally had to have her leg removed. So I'm kind of struggling with one leg for 3 hours. She absolutely powers through life, having had to lose hers for the rest of her life. So you've just kind of got to crack on. You're there to raise awareness and to raise funds for people who are going through an awful lot more than you are whilst you're going for your little jog around London. And
what made you pick these charities?
Well, with regards to hospice, they had a last minute cancellation. So I kind of stepped in because they needed a runner relatively last minute. Unfortunately, I've seen somebody who could have really benefited from having hospice care towards the end of their life in England, but there wasn't any spaces available. So I thought, well, if I can raise any money which would help spaces become available for somebody local, then I wouldn't like somebody to be looking at what I had to look at that time. And with regards to Positive Bones, I know Josephine's dad. I work with him, so I've met her quite a few times, and she is just an absolute inspiration, the way that she kind of soldiers through life with everything that's kind of been put in her way.
Remarkably then, you wanted to get a sub 4 hour time, and you managed that. What did you cross the line in?
3 hours 57 I managed to hobble over.
And I imagine for a lot of people that crossing the line after the marathon, it's a big sigh of relief, and it's a cause for celebration, I suppose. But for yourself, what was the immediate sensation?
Don't cry on TV, and where's the doctor's tent? That was pretty much it. Just get my medal and get to that doctor's tent, because I was in pieces, and I had about a 4 hour window to get to my flight, so I needed to kind of sort my life out and just get to the airport.
And have you seen the medical professionals on the island now? What's sort of the recovery time, so to speak?
Well, I will be at the fracture clinic in about 9 days' time. So they'll be able to give me a little bit of a clearer view on the situation with the foot at that point, hopefully. With regards to the non-bone related things, I see Kath Davies, a Rex physio. I wouldn't be able to do the marathon without her. She strapped me up and pieced me together before I went, because I've got pre-existing injuries that would have been a little bit detrimental as well. So she kind of put me on the road as such, and I'm seeing her on Wednesday, and hopefully she can piece me back together again.
And you're a fireman by trade.
Yes.
What are your sort of work colleagues saying?
They've been really good so far. A little bit of mockery, pointing out that I'm made out of glass. But other than that, really, really supportive. I just want to get back as soon as possible, really.